Hello, everybody listening to the Fan World Podcast. Your boy 2K Suave. I am here with my dog A-Rod. In case you were looking into what we were doing this past weekend, we were hanging out, watching our teams look bad on TV. So we're feeling fantastic today.
Yeah, we made this podcast for our teams, man. I mean, when you're at the point that you're at your pinnacle and you feel everything is great, like KK was the week before, things come crashing down. And I mean, I'm a realist with my team. KK has actually a good advantage to win his division and do well in his division. But
Not anymore. Not anymore. Here's the difference. My team dominated the 49ers and lost. Your team just got blown off the field by Bill Belichick. You have nothing to feel bad about. It's Bill Belichick. We actually played well, and we couldn't muster up nothing. Got to the red zone. I was just I'm sitting there trying to watch, drinking the little champagne that I was drinking, and I'm like, this is like the same old Eagles. Like, just it's annoying, you know. That's why I got the sad fans behind me staring into the abyss. We're not doing brown bags like a Jets fan yet.
Yeah, man, ain't shit changed but the quarterback's number and the quarterback on my team, man. So like everything that I've been saying about Darnold is the same thing going on with Wilson. He doesn't look good out there, man. It's just ain't nothing to be excited for this year. Just hopefully a good draft pick. All I want is the first overall pick, and maybe we take another quarterback. Who knows, man?
And to make it worse, we lose our individual football games. So what do you rely on when your football team is bad? Fantasy football. And it was the worst possible weekend for football for me. I lost by 1 point on Monday Night Football because of Aaron Jones. Our podcast fantasy team lost because of Aaron Jones. My other league, Devontae Adams couldn't do enough to get me the dub. DraftKings only won $3 this weekend. It's like, man, I'm getting sick and tired.
Yeah, it's KK and we're up 60 in the Townie Sports League, and Aaron Jones and TJ Hawkinson just decided to spank us. Meanwhile, we also had Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson play for us, who had astounding games.
Derrick Henry had an astounding game.
But yeah, fuck the kicker from the Dolphins, man. Number 1 last season, not even on my team anymore.
I know. So, I got tricked into thinking he was going to be a good kicker for fantasy.
All right, let's give a rundown of what we'll be talking about. So we did last week a pick 'em segment. I won. So
by one, I mean, because I didn't pick the Cowboys. What did you expect?
Yeah.
What did you expect me to do? Pick the Cowboys?
So we'll give a recap of those games last week, the big name games that we talked about on our pick'ems. Then we'll do another best win, worst loss. Then we're going to transition to the injury bug that seems to be plaguing a lot of players right now, and how's that going to impact the teams going forward. We'll go to contender pretender with the 2-0 teams. We'll leave the Bucs out of it because we all know they're the reigning Super Bowl champions, so we know they're definitely not pretenders. And then last but not least, at the very end, we'll do those NFL pick'ems again on the most intriguing games that we have for week 3. So let's go ahead and kick things off. Week 2 is in the books, and our teams lost. We know that there's nothing exciting there. But we'll go with our teams we talked about last week, or the games we talked about last week. Yep. Rams and Colts was actually a really, really good game. I had it going 27-21. You had 30-24. We both picked the Rams, and the Rams won 27-24. So I picked the winning score for the Rams, and you picked the losing score for the Colts. So I mean,
we kind of had an idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, but it was just a really good game to watch. Matthew Stafford just looks really, really good. I'm very excited to see him to come to Tampa Bay and see what the Bucs to go to Los Angeles and they do in LA, because that's going to be a very exciting game, probably one of the better games next weekend.
NFC Championship preview, maybe?
Could be. But Carson Wentz did go down. So there's a little bit of scare going on. What's going to go on there? What was your takeaway from the game? I know we were watching our teams just suck it up most of the day, but we catch highlights always. So
yeah. So after we watch our team suck it up on Sunday, I typically spend my Mondays watching like some like Game Pass kind of thing, trying to recap all the games. But Monday I was too sick mentally to still think about football. Tuesday I was not feeling too good about thinking about football. So today I finally watched all the recap for all the games and everything like that. So I'm caught up. What I got from that game is that when you said, Matt Stafford looks good in that offense, I think what it comes down to is that he just looks comfortable. Like it's like he belongs there, which is great. Like I'm watching Jared Goff on Monday Night Football with the Lions, and there were some throws that he made. I'm like, yeah, that's a good throw. But then there's so many other throws that he made, which is very similar to the Colts with Carson Wentz, drafted one and number 2 back in 2016. So it's kind of funny. Like the top 2 overall picks are literally, to me, the exact kind of player where they're going to make amazing throws. And that's why they're, 1 and 2 being where they were drafted. But they make a lot of bad decisions, a lot of bad throws. They don't just hold on to the ball too long and stuff like that. So Matthew Stafford, on the other hand, looks like he's supposed to be in that offense. Cooper Kupp is God, man. He's just I picked up Robert Woods in fantasy and regretting that one again. So it's just one of those regrets that I have. But Cooper Kupp is amazing.
Don't sweat it yet. Don't sweat it yet.
Well, that's his target. I thought I was going to be only Jared Goff's favorite target, but no, that's the target on that football team. Like
I think Robert Woods is too. Don't be scared. Yeah,
I don't know. I think he is too, but he's not maximizing the way Cooper Kupp is.
But what did I tell you about Matthew Stafford? He doesn't use tight ends. He uses his receivers, and Cooper Kupp lines up in the slot. So he's like, he takes away from what Higbee's going to be. So, but we said it before. I said it before. He doesn't historically use tight ends. They usually give up on their tight ends in Detroit, and Higbee's not getting a lot of love out there already. So, I mean, it is what it is. I just think personally watching that game and looking at Matthew Stafford, and I've been saying this for like the past 3 years, if you ever needed a quarterback, just if you look at your entire team and you break it down, you're like, what am I missing to get me over the hump? Like San Francisco should have been calling this guy. The Rams finally did it, pulled the trigger on it. But teams that are like basically there and you need to get into the playoffs or go deep in the playoffs or win, and you just need the quarterback, that was your target right there. And he's just showing that he's very comfortable. He's a seasoned veteran. He's a really good seasoned veteran at that. Like we take for granted like all the great seasons he's had there because he's been with the Lions. Like
yeah,
they're just bad, but he makes players known like a Kenny Galladay or a Marvin Jones. He makes these guys well-known players now. So it's just nice to see him on a team where he can rely on the defense to help out just as much as he contributes on the offense, and good offense as well. The running backs are a little banged up. I know Darrell Henderson went down with an injury. I know Sonny Michel ain't got no knees, and he does what he can out there. So they're going to have to figure that out. I feel like it's just a revolving door of running backs out there. But the Colts are 0-2 in their division. They were favored to win it. So
yeah, and the funny thing about the Colts, like what, and another big takeaway I got from that game, obviously, you know how I feel about Carson Wentz now, that he's not an Eagle anymore. Like kind of like this whole Ben Simmons situation. Literally, it's the same exact thing. I wipe my hands clean with Ben Simmons, and then wipe my hands clean with Carson Wentz. And now that I'm seeing it without my fan goggles on, like, yeah, it's the same old Carson Wentz. I mean, we're going to get into the injuries section later, but like he can't get right. Like, it's the same old story. And last year when they got Phillip Rivers, they said we're a quarterback away from being a contender. This year, they said they're a quarterback away from getting from being a contender. Phillip Rivers got them to the playoffs at least, and Carson Wentz has been an absolute downgrade for them. So to me, it's just they're still a quarterback away from actually being a legitimate football team because they have all the makings. The receiving core is good. Michael Pittman Jr. finally showed out. They got the running game. Jonathan Taylor's amazing. The offensive line is great. The defense played well, all things considered, against the Rams. But when you don't got that dog at quarterback, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think with them on offense, there's no, like we say Jonathan Taylor, but Nico Hines is just as good, and Mac is also good too. So like there's three good running backs there. And then on the wide receiver side, like Pascal's having a good year so far. Michael Pittman Jr. show out with 300 yards receiving and no touchdowns. And whoever the other wide receivers out there, like they're all good. So plug and play. And then they also got 2 decent tight ends out there as well. So it's like you don't know who the go-to guy is going to be, but I feel like they want to make somebody that, and that's going to be the problem. Like Philip Rivers made everybody good around him, and Carson Wentz just doesn't have that ability. Carson Wentz is kind of the guy that he needs to know who my number one is, who this guy is, and I'm going to be dumping it off to all the time. And then also the injury bug is just like his worst thing that comes to Carson Wentz is he's always hurt. It's always unfortunate. He always has a great O-line too, which is crazy.
Bro,
so like
it makes no sense. Like
Mr. Glass.
It's his, like it's clearly his fault. Like, and I watched him with that Game Pass. He holds on to the ball way too long, and it's kind of like the Jameis Winston effect. The two of them just feel like they can make that play. And I watched Tom Brady. Tom Brady never does that. He's like, I'm gonna throw the ball away. Like Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna throw the ball away. Like that's when you become that next level quarterback, is you know when to live to see another day. And I don't think he's figured that out yet.
Yeah, but that also shows like the seasoned veteran, like in the game. Like I remember doing this. Like I was kind of ass in the beginning, but
Patrick Mahomes is younger than him. He does it already.
There are some that just
get it.
And all I'm saying is like I'm not advocating that he'll learn in time. I honestly think that Carson Wentz, anybody in my opinion that went to North Dakota State, I'm sorry, Trey Lance, like I hope you prove me wrong, but I feel like those guys, like they didn't play in the right environment for college football. So you took a gamble on this guy. Yeah, he had an MVP season and went down, unfortunately. He got a Super Bowl ring out of it from being on the bench with a bunch of claps.
Shout out to my dog Nick Foles.
Exactly. So it's you've got a good resume, but the problem is like we're taking the gamble on the injury bug now. And I think the Colts thought that was behind them. And we have this stellar O-line that we've built with Andrew Luck there. We built it with Phillip Rivers. We built it with everybody that we've had there at quarterback since Andrew Luck. And they've been pretty good. They're going to be able to protect this guy. And it's just in Carson Wentz is his own worst enemy. Like he's going to be in his own head. He went as the number 2 pick. I think he's talked about more than Goff nowadays. And Goff is in a worse situation. And they're like, no one's expecting Goff to take the Lions to the promised land. That's not going to happen. But we're definitely expecting Carson Wentz to take the Colts to the promised land, or at least be a contender, man. Because they
at least look formidable.
Exactly. So they got to right that ship. They got to find out what's going on there and right it, because there's no reason a team that did as well as they did last year is last in their division and 0-2 on top of that. So.
You know what I would do if I was the Colts? I'll be on the phone with Nick Foles right now, because it's the same. I mean, it's Frank Reich. It's the same situation. It wasn't Nick. It wasn't. They said Carson Wentz came back to Indy so that he could be reunited where he had his best season. Meanwhile, his best season, he still got hurt. And Nick Foles is the one that had the magical playoff run with that coaching staff. So to me, Jacob Eason and whomever else is over there, it doesn't matter. Like, to me, Nick Foles is riding the bench over Chicago. Come on down whatever road goes from Chicago to Indianapolis, and let's make that shit happen.
I'd be laughing if he's like, yo, or if the head coach is like, yo, I got his number on speed dial right now. If you don't show up, I'm fucking calling this guy.
But you know what's gonna happen if they did call him? Carson went to whine and cry. Yeah. Oh, exactly. I want to be traded.
Exactly. So enjoy being a backup.
Carson Wentz and Ben Simmons were not cut from the right cloth. They cut from the same little soft cloth.
They're not. All right, let's go to another game. This one completely canceled out because we both picked Buffalo to win.
I almost did it. I almost screwed that one up.
Yeah, and we both had the same score, 27-24. But KK at the last minute came to his senses and was like, Buffalo's going to win. So this one cancels out. We were both right, and the Bills were probably listening. They were like, oh, yeah, bet you was going to bet against me. We're going to wax these boys 35-0. So not a very interesting game. Fuck the kicker from the Dolphins. And Tua obviously went out, was the big headline of that game.
Yeah.
And the Bills just, I don't get it, man. Like, they have 2 stud running backs and they still don't know who to make the number 1.
They don't need to. This is 2021 football. There's only like 6 number 1s. If you really think about it, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, who else?
Zeke.
not. I can't tell. Tony Pollard looked way better than him the other day. So to me, the situation, they have to feed both of them though. They can't have healthy scratches for no reason, and then not like they split Moss had 8 carries and Singletary had 13. So that's 21 carries between those two. And obviously, Josh Allen's going to run the ball 5 to 7 times. So to me, that formula works. The problem that I had was with Josh Allen still. They won 35-0, which sounds great. But he was 17 to 33. What was it, 187 yards or something like that? Like, he wasn't
stellar.
Yeah. And remember I said it a few weeks ago. I'm like, he's not as great as you people think. He had one amazing season. But you know what defenses do? They adjust. So he needs to show that next level of how to adjust. But with that being said, the Bills have won 6 straight games against the Dolphins, and they've scored 30 points in every single one of those games. So they've got the Dolphins. Even if the Dolphins have a great defense, they got the Dolphins figured out. That's clear. But yeah, the two things concerning Jacoby Brissett is not going to be able to get it done. I like Jacoby Brissett, but I don't think him or Tua are good enough. No offense, Tua fans, are good enough to take that team over the top. Because to me, just like the Colts are a quarterback away, if whatever team Aaron Rodgers chooses to go to, whether it's Denver, Miami, or like the Colts, for example, all 3 of those teams can make it to the Super Bowl with better quarterback play, in my opinion. So
yeah, exactly. Denver, if they just went and got a decent quarterback, if they
we're gonna do pretenders and contenders because I want to talk about Denver. I really do. So we'll save that.
but that was like one team that I was saying, if they get Aaron Rodgers, like they're set, and we'll get to the pretenders and contenders. So I'll just leave that one alone for now. But yeah, I think Miami's really got to be shitting their pants right now. Jacoby Brissett is a fun name, but it's not as fun as you think it is, because everybody thinks, because we pick off the Bill Belichick tree, whether it's coaches, whether it's quarterbacks, whether it's players that do well in the system. Jacoby Brissett really historically hasn't done well wherever else he's gone. So
you know what it comes down to? There's only one Bill Belichick and there's only one Tom Brady. That's it.
Exactly. But when you're on the Patriots, you know your role. That's what it really comes down to. Like Jacoby Brissett, excuse me, when he filled in for those few games, did well because he knew his role. He knew he had to just play this style of football, win 2 games, 3 games, maybe lose 1. But after that, like, I'm going back to being a locker room guy, enjoyable person, someone can relate to in the locker room, things like that. So he's that kind of guy. He's just, I hate to say it, man. I want him to do well. I hope he does well, but I just like what we've seen, he just doesn't look good. And
you know who he reminds me of? He's like Charlie Batch that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
He was a backup for them for like 15 years. And because he was like the perfect locker room guy. Everyone loves him. He was reliable. So if you need him to fill in, he'll fill in. He'll do whatever you need it. So, and to me, that should be more of Jacoby Brissett's role. It's just the perfect backup, the one that's going to hold the clipboard, help your starting quarterback be better, run the scout team, blase. But for an actual NFL team, especially the way the Dolphins are currently constructed, probably not going to be able to get it done with Mr. Jacoby. So
yeah, so everyone in the AFC East is now 1-1 except for old bagheads behind me back there. So I think it's now, depending how long Tua is going to be out, I think it comes down to the Patriots and the Bills. But yeah, like you've been saying, and I agree with you. I think Josh Allen just hit his ceiling, and I don't want to say he's going to come crashing down to earth, but I think slowly he's going to make a lot of he's going to digress a lot. I don't know what it is. It's just, there's no wow factor for me with Josh Allen.
I wouldn't say there's no wow factor. It's just he's not accurate.
Yeah, he's not accurate, and people take that away from his rookie year because he was like that his rookie year. He wasn't
exactly.
So he just had a monstrous year last year and made a name for himself. So I'm happy for that, but I just think that people get on hot streaks. I think sports is a game of hot streaks. If you're not like a consistently good player, like we all know, Aaron Rodgers is going to have he obviously had a bad game 1 of the season, and then came out and did what he did with the Lions. And it's just some players are built like that. Other guys they're just coasters, and sometimes they ball out and sometimes they don't. That's just how I see Josh Allen. So
let me run. So this season so far, he's throwing 56%, which is not good, especially in today's NFL. You got to be a 67% or above. 449 yards was about 221 a game, or 224 a game, and then one pick, 77.9 quarterback rating. His rookie year, 67.9% quarterback rating, 52.8% completion percentage. His sophomore year, 52.8% completion percentage, 85.3 quarterback rating. So basically in his 3 seasons and change of him playing, and currently he's 56% or worse, and then he had the one magical season. So I want to say, maybe give it a couple more games. I typically say by week 4, you kind of know who's real, who's not, like Jadakiss and Swiss Beat song. But he did play against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, even though the Raiders lit him up. And then he did play against Miami's great cornerbacks and pretty decent defense. So, I don't know who they play next, but we're going to see who's real, who's not.
All right. Speaking of Steelers, Raiders went to Pittsburgh and decided, hey, we're actually kind of a good team this year. And they decided to beat the Steelers 26-17. Yeah. We both picked Pittsburgh. I said 32-14. You said 28-17. So we both got that wrong. Chucky seems to got the guys believing in Vegas, or they're just hitting the slots a lot and winning a lot. So the winning culture is there. The only thing that I take away from this game is Darren Waller is like that dude, man. Yeah, I'm a big Darren Waller fan, man. Darren Waller is that dude. Derek Carr, I always like Derek Carr, but he's just super shaky. Inconsistent. He's very inconsistent, and I don't blame it. I don't blame it on his play. I blame it on the team that they put around him, because he had Amari Cooper. He did great with Amari Cooper. There was no reason getting rid of Amari Cooper. And
now that I think about it, that was strange.
It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense getting rid of Khalil Mack, because both of those guys were foundations to build around. And Chucky wanted to go in there with a new house and build up all these guys. And now they're hyping this guy, Brian Edwards, who I don't see anything with. I don't see anything with Ruggs. I just see that he's super fast.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, he
had a great game.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, like, these guys, I don't see them as, taking that year 2 leap or anything like that. It's all young. The only guy on the offense I like is Waller, and then Jacobs when he's got his head in the game.
When he's healthy.
Yeah, when he's healthy. So, and then the defense is just like semi-good. Like, they went and got some good pieces, but there's no household name like a Khalil. Like, when I think of the Raiders defense, I always think of like somebody good over there, like a Charles Woodson.
I could give you somebody. Max Crosby.
Oh, Max Crosby too. Yeah.
Max Crosby. They talk about they need pressure on the quarterback. That's their pressure on the quarterback. Max Crosby, crazy. I think I mentioned it. Darren Waller and Max Crosby were both like heavy drug users and alcoholics. They both got clean, went to rehab, and now they're both having great starts to the season. Because Darren Waller is old. Like he was starting off with the Ravens. He's been around for a while.
Yeah.
So but Crosby, he obviously wreaked havoc on Lamar Jackson in week 1 and Villanueva, which brings me back to the Steelers. They got rid of Villanueva, and I was like, wow, that's a mistake. And their offensive line is way worse. And now we've seen firsthand that Villanueva was not even that good. So the Steelers' offensive line is horrendous. They only were able to score 17 points. Again, like, they struggled against the Bills to put up anything. They struggled against the Raiders to put up anything. So their offensive line is horrible. Big Ben is hurt and getting old, and he's not the same Big Ben. It's clear as day. He shouldn't have lost all that weight, because now he's too fragile now. And then I know your boy Najee.
That stiff arm, boy.
That stiff arm was amazing, but outside of that, it's not like he And I understand it's not his fault.
Line though, man.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. But like, I want to see him. Like, I grew up in Detroit where Barry Sanders didn't have an O-line either. So,
but I just feel like that, man. But I've been advocating for him. People have been saying he's gonna be better than AP. So like, I'm just going with the people.
I'm not going with that. I'm not going with that. But I will say, like, if the Steelers don't figure out that offensive line situation, I think their defense is good enough to, because Mike Thomas never had a losing season before. I think their defense is good enough to at least get them around that 8-9 wins, but their offense is, they got to do something, man. That offense, like they have Deontay Thompson, they have Chase Claypool, they have Juju Smith-Schuster, they have Najee Harris, you got Pat Freiermuth and Eric Ebron. You have weapons, but if you can't protect, I mean, Big Ben got knocked down 10 times. 10 times. Max Crosby was throwing a little floor. They got Ngakoue now. So they got dudes that are like dogs on the defensive line. And I like Jonathan Abram as well. That's somebody who can end up being a household name for them as far as like somebody in their secondary. But
minus the stiff arm.
Huh? Minus the stiff arm. But Najee Harris, you said it yourself. Najee Harris is like a mini Derrick Henry. So this is what you're gonna get. The best of them, they got stiff arm.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get a win. Like every time they try to go for a win this year, because think about that Bills game was ugly, and they were down. I think they were trailing in that game 10-0, and they had to just muster up enough defense to make it work. But now I think TJ Watt was a little banged up. Big Ben's banged up. It's like they can't afford to be losing anybody, or they're gonna suffer.
Yeah, I think Chucky did it right on the D line this year. Like he went and got a good D line. He got Ngakoue and Solomon Thomas and put them there with Max Crosby, who can eventually become a household name, and I hope he does, just like Darren Waller. But I think the linebacking core is kind of soft, and the secondary is so. Abrams is good minus the truck stick he got. But yeah, man, I mean, maybe it was just a change of scenery they needed. Maybe just Oakland is cursed and they had to leave. And I hope that's not what it is, because they probably got the most loyal fans, because everyone that was at that game, they came from California. I don't care what you say.
Of course.
Everybody came from California. Of course it did. But I don't want to like stick on the Raiders so much. I mean, you gotta be worried if you're the Steelers, because you're notoriously known for a good defense and a good offensive line is what I always think they're known for, is like their offensive line is always one of the top 5 in the league.
And they get ran through.
And this year they're getting ran through. They went and spent their first round pick on a running back, which was well needed. And he's not getting enough touches. He's not getting any openings. And the weird part is they cut one of their best O-line guys in DeCastro. And I just think you got to call that guy up and tell him to come back, because I don't think he has a job yet. But yeah, and then you got to worry about your quarterback. I mean, how long are you going to stick with Big Ben? I know like he's loved in the city. He's beat like 3 rape charges, so like it's got a great story to go for him on a 30 for 30. But at some point you're going to have to look to the future. And I know Mason Rudolph isn't the answer. I know homeboy from Ohio State isn't the answer. Call Cam. Just call Cam for a season, man. Let's get it.
You want your prediction to be right.
I wanted to come right, man. I wanted to come right.
Well, I was looking at DeCastro. He said his body's just broken down. That's why they cut him. His ankle might need surgery, and retirement is probably on his mind. I don't think that's not coming. He's not coming. He's not walking through those doors like the kids say.
Yeah, they got to find something though, man, because like this isn't the Steelers' offensive line that we're used to. Like the defense is stout. The offensive guys can do their things when the O-line is healthy, but if Big Ben is out and they're getting to the quarterback like that, it's going to be a whole new ball game.
You know what it is? They're just soft. Like the Steelers that I remember, the bus, Hines Ward, you know what I'm saying? Like Troy Polamalu, like they were tough, like just tough-minded. And that bleeds into your offensive line. When your offensive line is just mauling people. But now the only tough guy they have is Najee Harris, because Chase Claypool runs run route. Is he going to run deep? Is that going to be a pass interference, or he's going to miss time to jump, or he might catch it? Like, that's it. And then Juju TikTok smooth or shit. What is his name? Schuster Smith, whatever it is.
Schuster, exactly.
Schuster. All he does is TikTok and dance around and stuff. And then Deontay Thompson, he's a little guy. Like they're not tough. They're not physical anymore. And to play in the AFC North, I don't care who you are. To play in AFC and NFC North, you got to be tough. Baltimore, tough. We're about to get to Baltimore. Baltimore's tough. Cleveland is tough. The Bengals are gonna start getting tough. Like they got to be tough. So I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
All right, let's go to another game. Dallas and the Chargers.
I don't want to talk about Dallas.
Dallas went to LA, decided that they are them boys, won 2017. I said 30-27. You said 31-28. I picked Dallas. You picked the Chargers. This was the turning point in where I won. We all knew you weren't going to pick them, so thank you for the win on the week. But yeah, man, Dak did his thing. Herbert did his thing. They both did their thing enough to win. Like if you win the game, you win the game. So all I know is if Dallas is smart, Zerline is a forgotten kicker, man. You got to get rid of that guy. Like he lost that game against the Bucs for them. So I'm not sold on Zerline. But one thing that I will say is a lot of people have like high hopes for this Chargers defense. I don't. I really don't. I think
they only gave them 20.
Huh? I know, but I'm just telling you, like it's gonna break down throughout the season. I feel like there's only like one or two really good players on the defense because I think they got rid of a lot of household names. Like if I'm wrong, homeboy that was there for the longest is now with the Steelers as a linebacker. Their corners are gone. We don't know what we're gonna get out of Asante Samuel, and then the other guy they got from Florida State 3 years ago that I can't remember his name because he hasn't played an NFL game until this year. Like he's
I'm going to beg to differ on this one.
I mean, that's just what I'm going with. I'm saying that from that's my hot take is I'm not sold on the Chargers defense. I'm sold on the offense. I'm sold on the O-line. They did everything to protect this kid. They went and got the right players to protect him. I think he's going to have a good year. I think they had a rough 2 games. I think their third game, I don't know who it's against, but I think they can try and find a way to pull off a win. But I really wouldn't count the Chargers. If you're a Chargers fan, don't count them out just yet. The one thing with the Cowboys I take away from it is everybody in the receiving core is good. Zeke out-touched Pollard. Pollard got more rushing yards than him. I think that's just a fortunate breakaway that he got to get that. But, I mean, I don't know what's up with Zeke. I hope his head is in the game, but this isn't the Zeke we're used to seeing. So
I've seen a steady decline with Zeke in the last few years. Listen, man, when you were Ezekiel Elliott in Ohio State, you were running every down. And the Cowboys for the first 2 years, he was running every down. Like, if you look at Dakota Prescott's attempts per game, it's gone up in his career as Zeke's rushing attempts have gone down. So like in the beginning, they used to protect Dak a lot, and he only throw like 20 times, and he'll throw for 187 yards, but then Zeke will have 140 yards. You know what I mean? But couple things just to spin off what you said. I believe in the Chargers defense. I know they gave up a lot of rushing yards, and that's probably the annoying part. But Dakota Prescott, you saw what he just did to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, he lit them the hell up. Like he lit them up. Against this Chargers defense, Dak had 237 yards and a pick, 23 of 27. So I think his what do you call it? His completion percentage was gonna look good, but he wasn't right. He didn't really like blow you away. I know Mark Cooper was a little banged up, so that probably had a lot to do with it. And obviously they're playing without Michael Gallup. So there's obviously a lot of retooling and reshuffling, and their offensive line's a little crazy and in flux right now. That's why I picked the Chargers to win, which they did let me down because Justin Herbert got him to the end zone and threw a pick into the end zone. Like that was the game. That was the ball game right there. So I mean, for me, I think the Chargers will be fine. They got to deal with the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken, next or something like that. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for them, obviously. But to me, it's still at the end of the day, they show their youth. when I was watching that game, the highlights, Justin Herbert's still only a second-year quarterback. This is only his 17th start. So in today's NFL, 17 starts literally one season. So he's literally still a rookie. He is the only rookie ever to throw for 5,000 yards in his first 17 games. It's him and Patrick Mahomes, and that's it. So he's off to a good start, but he's still a kid. He's going to make those little mental errors. He still had a pretty decent game. 338 yards and a touchdown, but those 2 picks are obviously going to eat at him, and he won't make that mistake anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just year 2 growing pains.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
They got a hard schedule coming, so but I think they can find some ways to win some ball games. I think they have the right pieces there, but they also could be like one of the biggest letdowns, I think. But I don't think they're going to be. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, if anything that's concerning, I'm not a Cowboys fan, obviously, but I would be concerned about Zeke. Like, he had 16 carries for 71 yards. That's not the greatest yard per carry. It's not like it's terrible. It's not like he had a bad game. But to me, if you just watch them side by side, like watch film side by side, Tony Pollard looked more explosive and better fit for that offense than Zeke did. So, we're going to talk about some stuff later in the show. And I'm going to have a big point to make when it comes to these running backs. But, that would be my only concern if I was a Cowboys fan is, what the hell are we going to do with Zeke? Because he's costing us a lot of money, and that's some cap space we can free up and get, better talent on defense rather than keep paying Zeke all this damn money that they have tied to him. So
true. Yeah. Let's go to the last game. We said we both got this one wrong. Chiefs went into Baltimore and looked like they had shit on lock, and then Lamar wanted to go for it and did his little flip in the end zone that everybody saw. Ravens beat the Chiefs 36-35. It looked really slow for Lamar in the beginning. He did throw 2 picks, but he picked things up. You can't sleep on the guy, man. Like I always try and find a way to poo-poo on him because I just feel like he's just not there. But I always forget that he was taking last in the first round, and I think that sticks with him. And he's just got like that dog mentality and that chip on his shoulder to say, I'm going to fuck up sometimes. I'm human, but I can hang with the best. And I think he really can. Being with a team that doesn't have the same defense as last year. They're missing, Matt Judon and a couple guys that were there. Peters is out, right, with a
ACL.
There.
Yeah. That's a big loss too.
The O-line is suspect. All the running backs are going down. They need better play out of the receivers, and they're kind of getting it out of Hollywood Brown now. But there's a lot of what ifs on that team, except for Lamar. And I feel as a quarterback, you definitely have to take the rap for them all the time. Unfortunate loss for the Chiefs. They played well. Everybody played well. It's just one of those nail biting games that came down to the wire, and Baltimore won it.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad with it. It's a tough loss for the Chiefs, a great win for the Ravens because they kind of had a hard start going into it. Going 0-2 in that division would be very hard for them.
Yeah.
So 1-1 to hang with everybody is all right, I guess.
Yeah. Lamar, I think about when as an Eagles fan, who do I support? Who else besides my team that I support? And I've always been a supporter of the Ravens, historically. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, that whole gang.
Peter Boulware.
And Boulware, yeah. So I've always closet supported them. I've closet supported a lot of AFC teams because they meet up to me in the NFC. So the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. Actually, I used to. Tony Gonzalez is one of my favorite football players. So I used to love watching them and Priest Holmes and Grandmama, and just the list goes on. So this is a game between two teams that to me are, they're teams that I like to see win. So I didn't have a dog in the fight, and it was a Sunday Night Football standalone game. I had a horrible day with the Eagles. So to me, it was probably the best game of the weekend. There was a lot of energy, Al Michaels and your boy Chris Collinsworth. But no, Lamar, man, that relationship that the Lamar and Harbaugh have is special. They've been showing it since his rookie season. Harbaugh really loves him. Like he really loves Lamar like a son. And you can tell Lamar will like run through a wall for him. Like the fact that he trusts him to make that fourth down call where that ball was, I think it was at the 45-yard line. If Mahomes gets the ball back there, it's over. So it was like either he gets the ball back, he has to drive and score, or he gets the ball back here. But we're not gonna like leave this stone unturned. And you have to think about what Aaron Rodgers was thinking. Like, damn, if I would have went for it on fourth down against the Bucs, I probably would have had the same result. So, when you have a coach that trusts you, it's a beautiful thing. And then we're talking about Ravens defense is not as great. Tyreek Hill, 3 catches, 14 yards. Like
very silent.
3 catches, 14. We're talking about Tyreek Hill. So without Peters, without Jimmy Smith, like that was a very impressive performance by the corners. Obviously Kelsey's gonna eat, and but the game came down to Lamar Jackson didn't screw up, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire did. He fumbled the ball, so it was a game that if they played a 7-game series, I take the Chiefs to win it 4-2. But those 2 games that Lamar Jackson wins, Lamar Jackson is going to be a superhero, because that's what Lamar Jackson has to be for this team, is a superhero, because like all his running backs are hurt. He only has Hollywood Brown to rely on. Sammy Watkins, we know he's going to get hurt at some point, and he's either boom or a complete bust. Mark Andrews is doing okay, but he's not like having like a TJ Hawkinson kind of season. It's just
or like his first year with the Ravens. So
yeah, I had him his first year. So I remember, and I had a feeling we're gonna see some drop off, and we're seeing the drop off.
Yeah.
So it's Lamar or bust. That's it. And I love to see Lamar get this monkey off his back and beat Patrick Mahomes, and because Mahomes still ball, so it wasn't like it was Mahomes had a bad game. He 35 points, but Lamar Jackson is he's Superman.
And we say it all the time. They're a team that plays from behind. They never, like, if they get the lead, like a big lead, like they're gonna stick with it. But like they're typically a team that plays from behind. So we got to see them play from behind again, and this time it came to their favor and against a tough team. So I'm happy for Lamar. I think Mahomes goes undefeated the rest of the season, but like
I don't think this Chiefs, like I didn't pick the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl because I don't think this Chiefs team is supremely talented. Like I feel like offensively, obviously they're going to be great, but defensively, I feel like there's a lot of suspect kind of situations that they have out there. So I'm not sold on them defensively. I saw what Tampa Bay did to them in the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay made them look silly. Like offensive line sucked, obviously, for the Chiefs. That's why the Chiefs weren't able to score points. But Tom Brady, 43-year-old ass at that time, tore him up, lit him up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm not sold on the defense just yet.
I agree, but wait till cuts happen, when people start cutting players that they don't want there, or trades happen. Something could change. But I'm with you on the defense. I'm not sold on it either.
But Matthew, Chris Jones, like that's your defense.
That's really it. So yeah, I take the week 3 out of 5. KK takes 2 out of 5, and we'll just add it to the total at the end of the season. Of the week, best win. Who had the best win to you?
The best win.
You saw my list, but I mean,
I don't remember looking at your list. To me, my 2, obviously the game we just spoke about, the Ravens, because remember I told you last week they had the worst loss because they had to come up against the Chiefs. Had they fallen to 0-2, that's like a very bad start to the season with their schedule. So to get that pretty much that split 1-1 in the first 2 games, that's a great situation for them. And then to me, the Panthers, this is for you though, because Sam Darnold, that offense looks good for him. Like, C-Mac, that's, Matt Rule, I didn't really like him coming all, in the situation that he got, but he's making that team look good, man. That defense is playing well. The offense looks formidable. So that was a very good, after what the Saints did to the Packers last week, this is like complete opposite of what happened last week. That's why, we all were praising Jameis and the Saints last week, but this week it was like, okay, this is what we expected to see. So got to give it to the Panthers for that one.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Ravens. It's a big win to go 1-1 in the division and hang with everybody there right now. I think everyone is 1-1 in the division minus. I think everybody is 1-1 in the division.
In the North.
Yeah, I think everyone's 1-1. Yeah,
Bengals. Yeah, they are.
1-1.
Yeah.
So good not to be at the bottom of the list. I'm also going to say big win for the Titans because
no, the Browns are 2-0. Oh no, they lost to the Chiefs. Yeah, 1-1.
Yeah, everyone's 1-1.
Yeah.
So Titans, I'm going to give them a big win because they had to beat Russell Wilson, and Derrick Henry made you remember who Derrick Henry is.
Which you know, yeah.
Why he's a monster.
Yeah.
They had a big win, so that gives them 1-1 in their division, and staying alive and not being at the bottom. So everyone's 1-1 minus the Colts in that division. And then the Packers, I'm going to say that's a big win for them because everybody was poo-pooing on Aaron Rodgers, and he said, hold on, let me show you why I was the MVP last year. And of course, it's the Lions. He tore them up, but it's a good win for them. It's better not to go 0-2. It's better not to get more press over there in Green Bay because there's really nothing to talk about in Green Bay except for the Packers. So keep the press out of there, play good football, and just win games.
I would have been willing to bet my whole 401k and my Robinhood account that they were not going to lose in the damn Lions to go 0-2. The last team they would have lost to.
I was rooting for that kid though, man. To turn that
I think no, I heard he still got paid because he cashed out.
Yeah, 1,000. He got like 1,000, or no, was it 155,000? He got out.
155,000. That's hey.
He could have got 700.
Don't think about the 7. Think about the one that you got. So.
Exactly. Got to look at it differently. Okay.
Glass half full.
Yeah. Worst loss.
For me, the Vikings.
The Vikings.
They missed a 37-yarder at home. I mean, on the road, but a 37. It gave me Blair Walsh vibes when he missed that 27-yarder in the playoff game. Yeah. It just gave, to me, Minnesota played so well and kept up with this high-powered Cardinals offense, and it just could not get it done. It's the team that I had high hopes for going into the season, and they're down to 0-2, and I don't think things are looking up, kid. I don't think things are looking up, man. Kirk Cousins ain't it.
It sucks because we had them doing very well in our predictions, and they've lost 2 games based off of field goals, and it's unfortunate. So they got
heartbreak to Joe Burrow and a heartbreak again.
I think the team is there. I just think you got to look at the kicker, and just come off of these hard losses. But it's going to be tough. It's a tough division. I'm gonna go with the Giants on Thursday night, man. They had everything to win that game. They should have won that game, and then they just collapsed at the very end.
It's trash.
in a team in a division that's historically strong, but for the last couple of years hasn't been. Yeah. They should be hanging in and trying to be 1-1 with everybody, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So there's a lot of talent there.
Yeah. The problem was the same thing with the Steelers. They don't have an offensive line.
Yeah, they don't have an O-line, but I mean, you just got Kenny Golladay, and he's not getting any touches. I mean, he's not getting any touches. Saquon, we've been groomed to think that this man is the next coming of an Emmitt Smith or a Barry Sanders.
They said Barry.
He looked great, but I just think his legs are too big, and that's his biggest problem. Is I get you have huge quads, but dude, I just feel I don't know what it is. But Kenny Golladay doesn't look happy. He showed his frustration in the game.
Yeah.
The Giants, I don't know what it is, but winning football in New York City is just not there anymore.
It's just tough.
It is very tough. So let's jump into the injury bug now. We kind of gave a preview on it during the segment, but there's been a lot of injuries that happened in week 2 that are probably going to affect teams down the way. We'll start with the starting quarterbacks, man. There's a lot that went down. Big Ben is going to be down for a bit. Carson Wentz looks like he's going to be out for a bit. They already said Tua will be out. Tyrod went down, and it's unfortunate because I root for the guy all the time, and he just can never catch a break. Andy Dalton, who cares? But he went down, and Baker Mayfield decided to say that he felt something pop in his shoulder. So he's got that question tag. And I mean, the Browns got to monitor that. Like when somebody says something like that, that's kind of like a red flag. So you got to see what's going on. The last thing you want is your number one pick of 3 or 4 years ago to go down with an injury and you mismanage that. So a lot of teams with quarterback issues. How do you see this playing out for all these guys and these teams? Like, should you be worried? The only team that I think is set for success maybe would be the Bears with Justin Fields getting the start this week.
Yeah. So Big Ben, he said he's gonna do everything in his power to play on their next football game. If he's not able to go, it's gonna be tough because Dwayne Haskins had a good preseason, but it was against third strings and fourth strings and guys who are probably coaching at their high school football team right now, and working at Walmart. So we don't know, and then outside of that's Mason Rudolph and God forbid. So this is scary. Big Ben is I think he's about to be 40 or he's 40 already. And he's coming off of like weird injuries, and he was thinking about retiring 2-3 years ago. So pectoral is part of your throwing motion, and their offensive line still sucks. So he's still going to get hit and all that stuff. So I would if he's going to play, I'd hand the ball off to Najee Harris 35 times. I'm like, bro, I just need you to run the ball. I'll throw you a play action pass every now and then, and I'll throw you a screen every now and then. But I can't. He can't get the ball down the field to his receivers with that kind of an injury if it's that bad. So I would definitely monitor that. But their O-line sucks. So it's like, shit, what do we do? Carson Wentz, we've been saying this. Who in the world has ever had 2 sprained ankles? Have you ever heard of that shit before? 2 sprained ankles at the same exact time? Like it's either one or the other. The man has 2 sprained ankles. So what more can I say? It's Carson Wentz. This is what you're gonna get. It's an accident that's just waiting to happen, and it happened again. And they play the Titans next, and the Titans are looking for blood, and they want to make sure that people don't sleep on them, and that's still their division. If they drop to 0-3, because they have to go with Easton or whatever. You can pretty much just kind of write the season off for them. They're going to struggle all season. And, I think that Titans victory over the Seahawks was big. I had the Seahawks winning that game, but Derrick Henry, again, reminded you I'm the best damn running back in the league, and it's not close, okay? So this is bad for the Colts, though. Tua, you said it best. I wrote that same thing down. Can't catch a break. Same thing with Tyrod Taylor. Can't catch a break. Like, those two, I mean, the Texans, we don't expect anything from them anyway. But now I think they pretty much secured that number 1 overall pick. And they'll be getting Spencer Rattler to come over next year. So that we can pretty much kind of confirm. And then Tua, that's a big deal because the kid's going to be hurt his whole career. He came into the league with a broken hip. Now he's got fractured ribs. It's hard to breathe with fractured ribs, let alone play football. So I think he's going to be favoring that for the majority of for the rest of the season. And they play the Raiders next, and the Raiders are clearly doing something right. So, and hopefully Max Crosby doesn't hurt Jacoby Brissett too, or it's a wrap. And then Andy Dalton, I predicted it a couple of weeks ago. I said I thought Aaron Donald was going to be the one that knocked him out of the game, but no, it was who did Chicago play? Just the Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. It was Cincinnati that knocked them out. So kudos to that guy because no, I'm just kidding. But I expected Justin Fields to be on the field or as early as possible. So I feel bad for Andy Dalton because I don't like to see guys get hurt. But it was coming. It was kind of how Deshaun Watson got his start. Homeboy got hurt. Deshaun Watson got into the game and hasn't looked well. He's looked back now, but up until just recently, he had to look back. I think this time is for Justin Fields to kind of just take off and earn his keep in the NFL, and just as long as he can protect himself, I think he's going to be fine. And then finally, with the quarterback we're discussing, Baker Mayfield, I think he's fine, but they need to monitor the situation of that whole team because we're about to, I'll just give it away. But Juice Landry is sprained MCL. He's going to be out for some time.
6 to 8 weeks.
OBJ is not 100%. He said he's coming back this week, but he's clearly not 100%. You know, and then they have Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Shorts. They haven't really done much with that. So to me, and I said the only thing that will hold this team back is Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield is part of the problem, but their strength and conditioning coach needs to fix some of these problems because if they don't have a threat of a receiving core, they're just gonna put 8 men in the box and like, all right, you're gonna have to beat us, Chubb, with these 8 men in the box. And then they're gonna have to force Baker Mayfield to air it out. I don't trust Baker Mayfield as a gunslinger in his league because he will throw 20 picks if that's the case. So that to me, the Juice Landry one is probably the more concerning one to me for that team.
So yeah, I'll be really quick about this. I'm not confident with any backups with these teams except for Chicago. With Justin Fields finally, he's really not the backup. He's the Andy Dalton is the log gap for him to be there, but now we should be able to see him eclipse that. And Andy Dalton return to a backup role, which I think he's better at that than starting. But Big Ben, whether it's Rudolph or what's homeboy's name?
Dwayne Haskins,
not sold there. Carson Wentz, Jacob Eason, not sold there. Jacoby Brissett, we already poo-pooed on him. We love him, but oh well. Davis Mills could be exciting, but I don't see anything there. Whoever's going to back up Justin Fields now, Nick Foles. So hopefully he doesn't get to see the ball.
Nick Foles need to get a phone call from one of these teams right here. Like, think about it. All these guys need quarterbacks. Cam.
Hold on. Just don't say the name yet. Okay. All right. Chill. And whoever Baker Mayfield's backup is, I don't even know who the Browns' backup is, but if they go with another quarterback, I'd be concerned right there and then. But I did predict Cam going to the Steelers. I kind of predict Cam going more to the Colts now if Carson Wentz is out for a while, because I don't think they're really sold on Jacob Eason. I know Sam Ehlinger got hurt and he was getting some looks at quarterback in case Wentz went down. But I feel like the offense is tailored for like a Cam Newton type of player. Bunch of strong running backs, just like they used to have with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. Tight ends that can catch the ball, that are pretty good, and Doyle and Mo Alley Cox. And then a bunch of just like do-it-all receivers. And he's always had a bunch of do-it-all receivers. So I could see him going there too, I think. But for all these teams, the one who should be shitting their pants the most is definitely the Colts. You brought in Carson Wentz, and now you got what you weren't thinking you were going to get. We knew it was going to happen, but like you got to be really nervous with that. Chicago, it's a new time. You get to see the young kid progress. The Steelers, I mean, you got to be worried that Big Ben, like at some point, like you got to say enough is enough. We got to go another route. They just decided just to keep holding on to this Big Ben theory. The Dolphins, you should have saw this coming. It always happens with Tua. I'm sorry, I like the kid, but he's just injury prone. Tyrod can never catch a break. And Baker Mayfield, you said it best. It all comes down to him, where his head is in the game, how he's going to handle things. I'd be nervous because let's move on to the next player. Jarvis Landry is out for 6 to 8 weeks on the MCL sprain. That's a big target for him on the offense. Granted, there's a lot of targets on the offense. We've been saying that Chubb is the focal point of the offense, but there's also Kareem Hunt that will shark touchdowns away from, whether it's rushing or receiving on a 10 to 15-yard pass or whatever in the end zone. He'll get those. They do have Hooper there as well. Njoku is there. Whenever OBJ decides he wants to play football and he's 100% and not trying to make an R&B album with his shirt off on the boat and stuff like that, I don't know what's up with OBJ, man. I'm not sold on him, but if he comes back healthy, maybe that could help, the offense, excuse me, in the passing game. But I mean, Juice is a do-it-all receiver. I feel like he's undervalued everywhere he goes. And people want
underrated.
Underrated. But I also feel undervalued too, because the Dolphins undervalued him. They decided to give up on him for a Parker, and now Parker's like buried on that roster now. And then even when you think of the receiving core for the Browns, the first thing that pops off of you is definitely OBJ, and then Nick Chubb, and then Kareem Hunt, and then Juice is there, but Juice is a midfield threat all the time. He's probably like the top 3 best slot receiver in the league. So that's a big target for Baker. That's a good guy on your offense, and it sucks that he's down, because I don't want to see him go down. I just hate that he's with the Browns. So, I mean, your take on it all.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much already said it with Juice. Like, if he's not there, that's not good. That's not good for Baker, because Juice is probably one of the more reliable receivers that have played in the NFL recently. Miami, he led the league in catches like 2 or 3 times. There's a reason for that, because they know that he's reliable. Mm-hmm. Without OBJ last year to end the season, I don't think they lost the game until the playoffs, or I think they only lost 1 game or something like that. So, OBJ is obviously OBJ, but he hasn't been the same since the line about 3 seasons. He has not been the same. He's pretty much kind of like Barkley. He's injury prone, and him and Baker really don't have like the best connection or something like that. So they're gonna have to keep running the ball and play bully ball. Get the ball to Joe, get the ball to Austin, and they try to get these young bucks like Peoples Jones and Shorts involved. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. But I think the talent is still there, like from on both sides of the ball. But it's not gonna be easy anymore like I thought it would be. So. I had him over 10.5 wins, but now I'm starting to scratch my head a little bit. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Let's go defense. Bradley Chubb is injured. Only thing I'm gonna say about that is he's a young guy with Von Miller, and Von Miller really, really likes him, and they complement each other very, very good. I think they're a tandem, excuse me, that nobody really talks about. And I feel like the defense is playing very well so far. Like they've got some really good talent on that team. Yeah. Corner, they got Harris, they got Surtain, they got Vaughn, they got Chubb, they got one of the best was it Juwan James, whatever his name in the safety. They got a lot of talent, man. So I feel like this guy, he was a top 5 pick, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was up there. He was up there.
He's a good player, man. So I feel like that's going to impact them a little on the defense. I think a lot on the defense. I think like the defense has been. We talk about all the good offensive weapons they have. Yeah, they're young. The defense is young too, with just Von Miller holding it down and Chris Harris too. So I don't know. I think it's going to hurt them tremendously.
They don't have Chris Harris anymore. They have Shelby Harris on the defensive line. Chris Harris is over in
the Chargers,
San Diego now.
That's right.
But they do have Patrick Surtain. They do have Justin Simmons. They do have Kareem Jackson. They do have Kyle Fuller. So yeah, they're great. Von Miller is a dog, and he plays y'all this weekend. I got Von Miller getting like 3 sacks on your boy Zachy Wilson.
I hope so. That's my favorite defensive player. So
all right, I'll like it. So yeah, I think they'll be fine. Bradley Chubb is a big name, but I think he's not going to be out for the season. He's still going to have opportunity to come back.
6 to 8.
Which is, I think they'll be able to do fine. But like I said, with this defense, like all they need is a quarterback. I think Teddy Bridgewater might very well be the quarterback to just give him because he's played perfect.
Breaks. We're going to contenders and pretenders. We can talk about that.
Yeah. So it's just to me, it's gonna hurt for a second, but I wouldn't be overly concerned.
Yeah, and I think Denver's intriguing to play because they're young, and if somebody's on the wire and they need to get a guy just to sub in for that, I think Denver's going to be a really fun place to go play at right now. Yeah, I think Vaughn's a good recruiter at that as well. So he's super country.
He got caught, very country.
And then the last one is San Francisco running backs. Mitchell had a great week 1. Sermon got the deactivation out of nowhere. Mostert started the game. Mostert obviously went out game 1, and then game 2, they activate Sermon, and Mitchell went out with injury, I think concussion, or Sermon had a concussion. One had a shoulder injury. Like there's a lot of concern that they even brought in Lamar Miller and Duke Johnson to try out today with the team because they're concerned about a lot of their running backs, and they still have Jeff Hasty, who did very well, and Jermichael Hasty, yeah, and like these guys are they're not household names, but if you had them in fantasy for 1 or 2 games last year, they got you some points. They're definitely like 3 options on any team, but I mean it's a big. I feel like in San Fran though, like we people think it's big that these guys are down, but they're not really historically known for using their running backs like that. It's just like a revolving door of guys, and they just
have Frank Gore.
Yeah, well, Frank Gore is like, I'm sure he's playing somewhere that we don't even know right now, like in Canada.
He's training for boxing. He said he's retired. He's giving up football so he can go box.
but that style of football with Frank Gore has been dead for a very long time in San Francisco. So, Frank Gore hasn't been there in like 10 years, bro. So, the last 10 years there hasn't been a prolific runner. It's been like a revolving door of running backs. It's give me 50 yards in a game. Maybe you get like 3 touchdowns a game. Maybe you get 100 yards a game. But there's no ground and pound type of running back there. It's always just a lot of receiving running backs. You got to be able to catch the ball to play in San Fran is what I've noticed. So hence why we have Tevin Coleman. So I don't think they should be worried. And I think the guys that they're trying out fit the mold. They're just seasoned veterans that were workhorses, minus Duke Johnson. He got poo-pooed everywhere he went. But, Lamar Miller fits the mold. He's just old.
My only takeaway from this 49ers situation is more so from a grand big picture thing. Now you understand why it's hard to get a contract if you're a running back. It's like literally the Ravens lost every single one of their running backs and they got 4 new ones to come right in. The 49ers are about to have 4 or 5 new running backs come. Like it's just literally there's a running back that has availability everywhere. The Jets they got an array of running backs. The Eagles have an array. Like the way the NFL works now, why would I pay my running back $20 million? Like they pay Zeke all this money and Pollard is outperforming him. Like it's literally we've gotten to running back by committee. And when we started off the show, to me, there's only 6 real every down back running backs. And outside of that, it's just committee. So for the 49ers, I wouldn't be overly concerned. Literally, they have Sermon, they have Jermichael, they have Patrick, Jaquez Patrick. They could go get somebody off of someone's practice squad. Le'Veon Bell doesn't even have a job. Todd Gurley doesn't even have a job. Like Todd Gurley is 27 years old and was like offensive player of the year a few years, like a couple of years ago.
No knees.
And that's like, one day if I have a son, I'm gonna make sure he don't play running back. I'm like, look, man, I want you to get to 35 and play sports. And as a running back by 27, 28, they're the reason why the average NFL career is 3.4 years. Because that's literally what we're seeing in San Fran and Baltimore. So
yeah,
that's it. But they'll be fine. I mean, their defense is good. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
I agree. All right, let's go to the fun part of this whole thing that we like to, or that we've been wanting to talk about. Contenders versus pretenders. We're gonna go over all the 2-0 teams. We're gonna omit the Bucs because obviously they won the Super Bowl last year. Same team, they're dominating. Like there's no reason to even dissect that.
Yeah, they
it's
are.
It's hard to. So let's jump in with one that's really entertaining to watch right now with all their free agent signings. Arizona Cardinals. So
love them.
They missed the playoffs last year by like a game or 2. So they went and beefed up the team. They signed some veterans. I mean, obviously they traded to get Andre Hopkins out of nowhere last year and shocked us all. And they get it shows an organization that's committed to winning and committed to their quarterback and committed to his success. So they go get AJ Green, who's obviously another household name from years back. He got a touchdown this week. I mean, it wasn't prolific. He had like 30 yards receiving, but it's still AJ Green. He does have hands. It's not the factor. It's just DeAndre Hopkins is there and a lot of young guys. Then you got JJ Watt just wreaking havoc on the defense with Chandler Jones and Budda Baker. So like they play in a tough division. You got to see San Francisco, you got to see the Seahawks, and you got to see who's the other one there.
Yeah, see San Fran, Seahawks, and the Cardinals, and oh my God,
I got a brain fart.
San Fran,
the Rams,
golly, the Ramley.
Yeah, so you got two teams in that division that are 2-0 right now. We left the Rams off of this one too because they look too good. Like
they're contenders. Yeah, that's not a pretend at all. That's a contender.
they're there all the time. But I mean, you're playing in a historically tough division. So it's, do you see them as a pretender or a contender? I'm gonna say that they made the right moves this year to become a contender, but not make it deep just because of youth. I think that would be the youth of the quarterback, not of the team, because JJ Watt's been in the playoffs. AJ Green's been there sometimes. DeAndre Hopkins has obviously been there with JJ Watt. I just think like the youth of the quarterback, and I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he can go deep, but like I'm not sold on that just yet.
The Cardinals, they play in the NFC West, which is, to me, it's literally the best division in football right now is the NFC West. Because the Seahawks should very well be 2-0, but you know, they played, the Derrick Henry is stupid. So there's nothing they could have done about that. The Rams look amazing. Like I said, when we were talking about the Bucks earlier, the Rams play like that could be a NFC Championship preview. So the Rams, we know. So then we get to for San Fran, you know, there you go. But the Cardinals, what weaknesses do they have? It's like one of those things in which you start looking at. They drafted really well. Like you don't understand. I've been talking about Rondale Moore for about a year and a half now. Like Rondale Moore, I knew about him in college. I said once he gets to a football team, if it's a high flying offense, he's going to shine quickly. And I wanted to draft him in fantasy, but everyone reads the same beat writers that I read and beat me to it. But yeah, Rondale Moore is going to be like every week you're going to see something special from him. Christian Kirk, a speedster. You're going to see something special from him. AJ Green, like you said, household name. He's special. DeAndre Hopkins is, to me, the best receiver in football now. Like, special. And then Kyler Murray just, you know, he has like that Russell Wilson, but like they're both baseball players, right? Literally, that's to me why they're so good at quarterback, and that's why their size and their height doesn't really matter, because they're really good baseball players. Like they just have natural arm talent that you can't teach. And some of the throws I see Kyler Murray make, I'm like, damn, like that boy can throw like at his height, and he can't see over the offensive line. That boy can throw. He gets out the pocket. He's elusive. He's quick. Then you get to the defense. You mentioned all the names: Chandler Jones, JJ Watt, Budda Baker, Byron Murphy Jr., you know, Isaiah Simmons. Like they stacked. Like to me, they have no weaknesses. So I have to make them a contender. And now that you have 4 teams that can make it out of the division, all 4 of these teams can make it out the NFC West. So to me, even if they have the same record as the teams ahead of them, or they're a game behind the teams ahead of them, they can still make it to the playoffs. So to me, they are officially a contender. We'll see about Kyler Murray, but Russell Wilson, he won his Super Bowl young. You know, it's not like it's impossible. Jared Goff got there young. You know, a lot of these younger quarterbacks are getting there now. Like these rookie deal quarterbacks, that's like a path to get to the Super Bowl, is get there on your quarterback's rookie deal. So,
and I think like, yeah, and I think in like divisional games too, like you know how to beat your divisional rivals. So I think they're doing right, and I like that a lot of people poo-pooed on. I love saying poo-pooed now ever since you started saying that. Cliff Kingsbury, I think they didn't think he was gonna make the right transition from college to the pros, and I think all you had to do was show them the house you live in on draft day, and they're gonna take you serious there. So I think Cliff is kind of like I see him kind of like a Harbaugh, is like not Michigan Harbaugh. Talking about the one that
he's doing well this year.
He's doing well. All right. But I see him kind of like Harbaugh. I think he's the kind of guy that you bring in to mesh with your young quarterback an equally young coach too. I know Harbaugh's been there some time, but he's still pretty young. And Lamar's a young quarterback, and he did it with Flacco there, and they gelled. And I think just everybody's on the same page, and he's fun to play for. And I maybe they find ways to beat these teams in their division. It's going to be tough, but if anyone can do it, they're 2-0 right now. I mean, Cardinals can do it. So let's stick in the division. Let's go to the 49ers. They're always up and down. I mean, they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It was unfortunate they lost. There's the headache of, is Garoppolo the guy? Is Trey Lance the guy? The running back situation. Deebo Samuel showing why he's a really good wide receiver, and wondering if he had a really good arm, how much better could he be with somebody throwing to him? Yeah. And then the defense is just really, really good. Like, Robert Saleh's my head coach now. Thank you. But even at that, like, you plug and play the guys that were there before that know it, and they know what they're doing. They may have lost some pieces like a Solomon Thomas, but the next guy up, man, they're really good. So what is it? The other Bose is there. It's a wrap. They're solid, but they play it in the hard division too. The sad part is, aren't they 2-0 or are they 1-1?
They're 2-0.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking this, if they're contender or pretender.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, duh. Forgot. Yeah. So the sad part is like I kind of see them at the bottom of the barrel in the division. I have Russ and the Seahawks at 2, the Cardinals at 3, and the 49ers at the 4th spot, if I were to call it at the end of the season, with the Rams taking the cake. But anybody can take this division. It's that tough, man. Like, I feel like it's this one that everybody's going to beat each other one time. Like, you're never going to get a clean sweep.
Oh yeah, you're not getting that in this division. No,
it's going to be like nail biting.
Yeah. So I was big on the 49ers in the summer. I was like, I'm a big trenches guy. That's what I know. I played in the trenches before, so I understand the importance of having a good offensive and defensive line. Shit, the Super Bowl winning champions of 2018 were the Philadelphia Eagles, because we were dominant on the O-line and D-line. So at the 49ers, they're dominant. I mean, that game against the Eagles, it was funny to watch, because I know we lost and everything like that, but I was feeling like we were seeing a better version of ourselves. That's what the 49ers remind me of. Great O-line, great D-line, decent quarterback play, good weapons on the outside, and then a solid tight end. And then your defense is going to do the rest. So to me, they're a contender because their O-line and D-line is solid. And they got a great defense. Fred Warner is one of the better, I think, top 3 middle linebackers in the NFL. Obviously Nick Bosa is crazy, but the only problem they're going to have is, will the injuries do them in? Yes, it's a revolving door at running back, but I mean, how much can that door revolve? You know what I mean? And then Garoppolo's like, and it's the same thing with Goff. They both got to the Super Bowl, and we cannot forget that. Jimmy Garoppolo and Jared Goff are Super Bowl participants. So it's not like they just back-to-back years too. It's not like they're trash. It's just, they're good enough. They're good enough. And Garoppolo's good enough, but not good enough to not have Trey Lance breathing on his back. And, those are the two concerns, is injuries and what do you really feel about Garoppolo? Because the thing with, like you were saying, that they're revolving door at running back, they've been doing a good job with that. And they have backup quarterbacks come in and still hand the ball off to these running backs. So, it's tough. I would put them ahead of, I think the Cardinals are a more exciting team, but like you say, youth could do them in. 49ers is a more veteran-led team, and they're better in the trenches. So I'd put them ahead of the Cardinals. I'd probably put them ahead of the Seahawks too. It's just, Seahawks, they have Russell Wilson. That is it. So, it's going to be tough in this division, but I think O-line and D-line is what gets it done. So I have to give them a contender nod, but too close to call.
Yeah, exactly. It's all teams in that division play different football, and like they're just like the doggest ones, man. Like there's no household name on offense, There really isn't if you really think about it.
Debo trying to get that.
Debo trying to get there.
Debo's trying to
he's
get
not a household name. Like he's a good player, but like they're just some dogs there, man.
Yeah.
They're just dogs there. Like there's 2 stud receivers.
Oh no, George Kittle.
George Kittle, yeah. But
why do we? Oh, you know what it is? It's because of fantasy football. We always kind of forget him, but he's actually their best player. Like he blocks.
He was also hurt last year too, so it's another.
No, he's not. I like me some Kittle. Like Kittle is definitely the household name.
Yeah, Kittle's definitely a household name. I take that back. But other than like running back or wide receiver, even the quarterback, Trey Lance, you're getting to hear him a lot. But like, we
don't know. Too early to call. It's like the election. It's too early to call. We have an idea which way is leading, but we don't have to do this recount. So
yeah, leave homeboy that be on CNN circling shit.
Like in this county.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a scrappy division. Let's stay in the NFC. Let's go one more team that's 2-0 in the division. Mr. Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers. Now, I want you to know right now, I'm not like a huge Sam Darnold fan. I'm just mad the way the Jets did him. And what I said is true. Okay. What I said is true. There's no O-line, nothing to give him. But now you give him an O-line and you give him weapons and one in a familiar face, he's going to do well. So, like I said, he's not one of my favorite players. I just thought he gave up on him. It's a waste of a draft pick. I don't like the idea of a new coach coming in and getting rid of something that you traded up to get, or you worked, or you played shitty to get, and you get rid of it. I mean, I just think it's foolish. There was nothing wrong with it. But the Panthers are 2-0 in their division. The NFC South has historically been a very tough division as well, with now the Atlanta Hawks finally just fizzling out and not
Falcons. Wrong bird.
Yeah, wrong bird. A lot of birds there. With the Falcons just not being a really good team. Sorry, Falcons fans. I know you're going to be upset with that, and you'll probably leave a comment on the page, whatever. Fuck you. Like, you suck. You guys are trash. All right. But the Panthers have historically been trash, and now they're coming alive. I know there's only 2 games in the season, but we even said it last year. Like, they have the pieces. If you put the right talent around it, could be good. They got Hassan Reddick. They made a change at quarterback because there wasn't really a good quarterback there. I know they got Teddy Bridgewater, but it didn't fit the style of play that Rule plays. And then you went and got just a bunch of other seasoned veterans to put around it, and it looks good. And they drafted well, too. They got J.C. Horn. And I forgot how they got in the second round, but it was a good player, too. And you get Chuba Hubbard. So, I mean, there's a lot of good players and things that are exciting on that team. I think the city of Carolina, Charlotte, South Carolina, whoever the fans are, however far it goes, you should be excited for this because you've got a team that can hang in the division now and not be at the bottom of the barrel for the last couple of years. So you're 2-0, enjoy it, and trust in Sam Darnold. That's all I'm saying. Trust in Sam Darnold.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna call them, by the way, pretenders, though.
Pretenders?
I just think that it's gonna be tough. It's going to be tough for them with the NFC because the NFC, somebody from the East is going to get through with a semi-shitty record. And there's just a lot of teams that are better out in the NFC. Like, obviously, we just talked about out West.
The whole West. The whole West is better.
The whole West is just breathing on everybody's neck. So from Carolina to even eclipse the Bucks, which it won't happen, or even eclipse the Saints, it's going to be tough. But I do like the way they're trending. I'll say that. Pretenders, but like the way they're trending.
Well, they beat those Saints. I mean, that has to count for something. Mm-hmm. And then also, Sam Darnold obviously looks way better. C-Mac looks healthy. That's great. I love their receiver situation with DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson fits this offense somehow. Dan Arnold as well, the tight end. They're protecting him. The defense has been playing really well. So you got to give them credit for that. But, for the same reasons, I can't call them a contender because to me, they're not better than the 4 teams in the West. They're not better than the Cowboys. They're not better than the Packers. And they're not better than the Bucks. So there's no room for them to get into the playoffs with those situations going on. And to me, they're still got things to figure out. I think they're going to have a better season than I expected them to, but not good enough for me to say, yeah, you guys are going to be in the playoffs, or you guys are legit because think about it. Whoever if they were to make the playoffs, whoever they would play, I think it would be a blowout. That's how I feel about them right now. I think they're good enough to be like a good average. I missed the 8-8 days when we had 16 games, 500. They were 500. They're slightly above 500 team, so like a 9-7 kind of team. But like the type of 9-7 team that but you can't make the playoffs.
We didn't get there.
Can't get there.
All right, so you got them as pretenders.
Yeah. Good pretenders. Right. They pretend very well.
I agree. All right, let's go AFC now. Chucky is winning games, man. So maybe the move to Vegas was it. Maybe they just hit luck in the slot machines and they're all doing well. But Chucky's got these guys winning some big games. They're 2-0. They do have a tough division though because Patrick Mahomes is there. I know the Chargers are 0-2, but they're really no slouches historically. And if they are bad, they're bad very, very momentarily, and then they get really good again. And who else is out in that division out west?
Chargers, Broncos.
Oh, Broncos is
Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs and them.
We'll get to the Broncos in a second, but the Raiders have been historically at the bottom of this division year in and year out. They haven't really been contenders for a while. I don't even know how long, man. I feel like it's been a long time since the Raiders have been kind of relevant.
Yeah, it's been a while because it's been carried by the Chiefs lately, and the Chiefs always do well. The Broncos with Peyton Manning, and then
the Charger era with LaDainian Tomlinson.
It's the last time they were really good was when they had Richard Gannon, when John Gruden was there the first time.
Yeah, and Charles Woodson,
Charles Woodson, yeah.
But yeah, it's just been a revolving door of has-beens in there or trouble players. Chucky tried to put together a team his first 2 seasons and he shocked the world on his first draft and took Farrell from Clemson. I don't know.
Yeah, I would never understand that one.
I don't really understand any of his draft picks, really. The only thing that I can tip my hat off to him for so far, because he got rid of Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack. The only thing I can tip my hat to him so far is getting Darren Waller and trusting that and keeping him in the right mindset and believing in him and showing him that. And Darren Waller is good. He's the best tight end in football right now, I would say. Him and Kelsey. Sure.
Nah, I'm still taking Kelsey every day.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And overall tight end, I'm taking Kittle too, because Kittle is a dog. But I'm taking Kelsey for sure. Darren Waller's the better receiver because he's a receiver.
He's top 3, man. But all I'm getting at is Chucky, his first 2 years there have not been good. And then after that Super Bowl, he won the Super Bowl with the Bucks. But after he won that Super Bowl with the Bucks, we saw what he did in Tampa Bay. Just not a really good run. So he's 2-0. He's in a really tough division. He's got one team that's 2-0. He's got a team that's been to back-to-back Super Bowls. And then, like I said, the Chargers are no slouch. I'm going to go out and say Chucky made a lot of good moves this season. But I think they're pretenders. I think the Raiders got a lot more things to fill in. I think Derek Carr always starts off hot, and then he starts to fizzle out. People start to realize, like, this is Derek Carr. Like, he's not Aaron Rodgers. Like, he looks good, but there's just a lot of missing pieces, I feel like. So I'm putting him at pretenders.
This one is too close to call. Kind of like Carolina. To me, the West Coast right now is kind of just dominating football. The NFC and AFC West, they got all the best teams to be in those conferences. I mean, those divisions. Derek Carr is a veteran, so he won't stink up the joint too much. Like, he's good. He's a solid. He had like a semi MVP kind of season a couple years back. He's fully capable of it. So I think now it's just time. Now that he's got Darren Waller there and a lot of experience with him, I think Ruggs is going to start getting better in that offense because, I mean, Ruggs comes from wide receiver university from Alabama. So I have enough faith in him to figure it out kind of thing. Brian Edwards, however you feel about him, he obviously had that one game and everybody's, and then he came back to life. Hunter Renfrow, though, he's actually more important to me He's like Cole Beasley in that offense. Like you like your receivers, white boy receivers in the slot.
That's what I was gonna say.
You like your white boy receivers in the slot.
Exactly.
Hey, that boy killing the slot. So I like him in the slot. But to me, the Ravens game that they won was luck. It was poorly executed. It was not the best coaching at the end. They lost by luck to me. They did a good job getting with Max Crosby and the defensive line. But to me, that was more of a luck thing. Whereas the game against the Steelers was kind of impressive. But at the same time, to me, the Steelers offensively are just not good. So and they were playing and Big Ben is hurt. TJ Watt got a little dinged up in that game as well. So to me, they've benefited off of the misfortunes of the Ravens and the Steelers. So yes, there were 2 wins, and a win is a win, but I'm not still overly like, wow, the Raiders. And now they're about to go 3-0 because they're about to play the Dolphins, and Dolphins are going to be without Tua, and they're about to start reeling. So to me, they're going to start off 3-0, and we're going to be, oh my God, Chucky. But then when the rubber needs to meet the road, I think Chucky becomes less scary.
Yeah, I also think like the Dolphins can shock anybody at any time.
Which they could.
It could be the Raiders. So.
Which they could. And you'll see the real Derek Carr out there.
Yeah. Then we'll go to the last team, the same division, the Denver Broncos. Yo, I'm gonna put them in the same kind of category as the Panthers in my rating this. I'm gonna put them as contenders though, like a sneaky last in. We're going to be contenders because I think I always have faith in Teddy Bridgewater, and I know people always, back to KK's word, poo-pooing on him.
Poo-pooing on his name.
I just think he's over the poo-pooing, and I think he just wants to win. And I think he's with a young team, and a lot of guys that are like, "Hey man, we just want to make you better. We want to be better. Just get us somebody here that I know Drew Lock knows a lot of cool hip hop songs, but he definitely can't say the in the locker room. So." We want you to be that guy. And Von Miller I feel like Von Miller is just like a fun guy to be around. Like you just can't say like
big country.
Yeah, big country guy, 10-gallon hat, all forest camo, coming up in an ATV all the time, with his goofy glasses and all them tattoos he got all over his body. So I feel like Von Miller is just a guy you want to play with too, because he's gonna advocate for you. He's gonna be there to make you better. Pick your brain as well. So I just think like the offense made all the right moves. Again, you got Melvin Gordon, but you also got Williams back there. They got 2 good running backs. They got a lot of young wide receivers. We said Sutton, Patrick is doing very well with Judy out, and then they also got Hamler too, and then Noah Fant. Don't forget about Noah Fant. The O-line is good. The defense is a pretty good defense too. I like them. I really like them. I think they could be the second team out of the AFC West, and I think they could be a very sneaky pick to make the playoffs. So I'm going to put them as silent contenders for the playoffs.
So in the AFC West, to me, they have the best defense. We talk about the Chargers a lot. Like I know you said there's not too many household names, quote unquote, but they got guys in the Chargers. Whereas the Broncos, to me, is the most complete defense in that division. Chiefs are not that good defensively to me compared to them. Chargers are obviously they're there, but and then the Raiders, I'm not, I wouldn't say they have like a stout defense. But the Broncos do, and that's why people pick them as well. If you go get Aaron Rodgers, that's a Super Bowl, because literally the Broncos went and got Peyton Manning, and the first year they had the best offensive season ever. And then the second year, their defense literally won them the Super Bowl against Carolina when their defense was wreaking havoc all year. So to me, we're gonna see more of that. Teddy Bridgewater, like I always say, will never lose you a game. Never. Okay. Do I think the Broncos can beat the Chiefs? Probably not. But do I think they can beat the Raiders? Absolutely. Do I think they can beat the Chargers? Yeah, they probably split that one too. So to me, I'll give them the contender hat. They got the receivers. Judy obviously will be coming back later this season. They got the running back situation figured out with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. And I like Teddy. He's never gonna win you a game, but he would never lose you a game either. He's gonna play the right way, And he's a dog, man. Coming back from that gruesome leg injury, he's the dog. So I'm gonna give him the contender hat because I got a lot of respect for everything that they put together defensively, and they'll look good this year. You look good, and then Aaron Rodgers gonna come and win him a ring in Denver next year.
Poop on the Teddy show really quick.
So. I'm not gonna poop on my dog Teddy though, man. Teddy, he's cut from that Lamar Jackson club to me. They're solid dudes, and I like that. So
South Florida boys. All right, let's wrap up the show. Let's go to our fun segment, the NFL Pick Ems. So I won last week 3 out of 5 to KK's 2 out of 5. We will put that in the tally and add it up to next week. Let's go first game. Chargers versus Chiefs, another divisional game. Who you got?
Chiefs 31-17.
31-17.
Pissed off Patrick Mahomes coming out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 28-14 is I'm gonna go with. Okay, Kansas City. You can't root against the Chargers, man.
You sure?
I can't. Right. He's not gonna lose 2 games in a row.
I know, exactly. That's the thing.
And I feel like the Chargers are gonna have to come behind on an 0-3 start of their season.
Kansas City did struggle with that Browns game too. So they're off to a shaky start. 1-1, I know, but it is kind of shaky. So
I think you start to figure things out as the year goes.
I know. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
I agree. All right, Chicago versus Cleveland. Who you got?
I have no idea. I'm a Justin Fields fan, and I want this to be like a breakout game where he just comes, just rips them up. And for my personal like feelings, I want to pick Chicago, but I think Cleveland still gets it done. 22 to 16, weird score.
Okay, Cleveland. All right, I'm gonna go. The young bull gets the win on this one.
I wanted to.
I'm gonna say low scoring game, defense heavy. I'm gonna say 17-14. Kicker's gonna win it somewhere.
All right. I was close. I might regret it, but
you know, change it. We're still doing this. You can change it before.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna just stick to my guns on this one.
All right. Probably the most fun game of the week to watch, the most exciting so far the way it's advertised. Tampa Bay 2-0 versus the Rams 2-0. They got to go to LA.
That's why I'm picking the Rams. That's the only reason why I'm picking the Rams, because they have to go to LA. And I know Tom Brady is probably being doubted, and he's gonna light up the Rams, and I'm gonna be like, damn, man, the Bucs are fucking good. But they're going to the crib to LA, so I gotta pick LA in this one. I give it a high scoring game because that's just what I feel, but not too high score. I say 29-24. Weird score, I know.
And see, like we got to offset it somewhere because I feel like we're gonna pick the same things going around.
You picked the Bears.
That's true. That could be our difference maker right there. All right, I gotta say the Rams too. Like I just hate Tom Brady, and it's hard to go into somebody's stadium like the Rams right now, the way that they're moving.
Yeah. Antonio Brown's like in COVID protocols or something like that. So he might not even he might not even play on Sunday. So that's
not one of their 50 targets.
Hey, but that's a big. I mean, what's his name? Mickens probably blow up or whatever, but was it Adam Humphries or whatever? Not Humphries. What's his name?
Who knows? And so white
Scotty Miller.
I'm gonna pick the Rams. I'm gonna say 32-27. I'm gonna say
that's a better looking score than mine. We both got a 5-point spread though, but
yeah. All right, Green Bay, San Francisco. This seems to be like always a fun rivalry, even though they're not the same division. So,
where's the game being played at?
It's going to be in San Fran.
Man, San Fran just owns him. I don't understand. Man. Give me San Fran. Give me Nah, I can't pick a rock. Give me Green Bay. That running back situation is crazy. Give me Green Bay, man. Give me Green Bay. Close though, but yeah, close. 24-20, Green Bay.
Damn,
tough one though.
You took the score right away from me, man.
24-20.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't want to have another Dolphins moment again. I'm gonna go 30-24 Green Bay.
All right.
I feel like Max Crosby's leg is loose enough to do this. Now, the game KK is waiting for, Monday Night Football. He gets to listen to Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth narrate this one.
If it's Monday Night Football, that's I'm listening to Peyton and Eli.
That's right. You're right. I forgot about that. I like their segments.
I'll listen to Peyton and Eli on Monday Night Football for sure.
Philly versus Dallas, divisional game.
Yeah, I'm taking Philly. I don't care. I'm not even gonna. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm probably picking with my heart, and I don't give a damn. Fly Eagles fly. Listen, we played San Fran very well. Like, I don't like moral victories. I don't believe in moral victories, but we played San Fran really well. We're gonna watch film, figure it out, and yeah. I'm taking the birds, bro. Taking the birds.
Okay. What's the score?
Shit, 52 to. No, I'm just playing. It's always weird with us. It's gonna be like 7. It'll be like 17-14.
Damn it, that's the same score I was gonna give. God damn. All right, 17-14 Philly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to boys. I'm gonna say them boys is them boys.
Cool.
Just offset this one.
Cool.
I'll be rooting for the Philly though, but
nah. You don't root for us. We don't want y'all fair weather bandwagoners. We the only one allowed to be fair weather.
I'm rooting for Devontae Smith for sure and Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna put Dallas though, because it's at home in Dallas. If it was in Philly, I'd be going Philly.
Man, we win in Dallas. We'll win in Canada. We'll win in California. 17-14 birds.
You'll see his demeanor on the next show.
I'm gonna be talking about the boys.
I'm gonna say 21-17 is what I'm gonna say for this one.
Cool. Hey, the offensive line is jacked up. We got Josh Sweat. We got Barnett. We got Fletcher Cox. We got the Grave Digger coming. We got Milton Williams. We sending pressure. Brandon Graham gonna be out. Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks. Oh man.
It's a change of
scenery. We still going 17-14 Philly, but damn, Brandon Brooks, that's a big one. But it's all right. No stress, no seat. You know what I'm saying?
You'll be good. All right. So as of now, I'm leading 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. So hopefully we can be at Changing of the Guard next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fine.
I think you'll be fine.
I mean, listen, the Philly pick I'm obviously concerned about, but come on, man. Fly Eagles fly. I don't give a until I die. All right.
Oh yeah. I hope my team wins, but yeah, we're gonna lose.
Who the Jets got next?
I don't even know. I really don't even care.
Wow, some fan.
Is it Denver? I think is it Denver?
Let's see, man. Listen, you guys have the Broncos, yeah.
Yeah, we have Denver.
At Denver,
geez,
Von Miller gonna have him 4-sack game.
Yeah, he's gonna say, Teddy, they cut you, they got rid of you, Teddy. Exactly.
I like it.
New York would have been good for Teddy Bridgewater too, but oh well. That's the show. You can follow us on Twitter at @fair_weather_pod, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the Fair Weather Podcast, and wherever you subscribe to podcasts. You can find us there. Last week we got to watch our team suck it up at Soho Backyard. Shout outs to Nick Brown, the shittiest bartender in Tampa. He's actually got a very heavy hand, so if you want to see a good bartender, Nick Brown, Soho Backyard. He's very shitty, which means he's very, very good. So
hey, Soho Backyard showed us a lot of love. So big shout outs to them. I'm gonna start making excuses to get out the house and probably watch some more stuff over there. So that's where it's at. But yeah, fly Eagles fly, man. That's all.
Just end the season for me, man. So
JETS, Jets.
Yeah.
All right, peace.